So the gelatin in the bone broth acts as effectively a glue to bring your lining back together.
But they've been shown to have an anti-inflammatory effect. So not only can they be anti-inflammatory to the gut, but also just like the body in general. Most collagen supplements out there come from the hides or the skin of the cattle. So that's why the best source of collagen is really from. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 16 of the Clean Kitchen Podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kevin. And Kyle?
Yes.
I got a bone to pick with you.
Okay.
You're going to like that. You're going to like that show.
That was nice.
That's good. Nice. So I came over here last week.
Yep.
And you looked exhausted.
Yeah.
You did. And it was because you were doing a bone broth fast. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to learn
I looked exhausted?
You did. You looked exhausted.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Did you feel exhausted?
I felt exhausted.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about why you did it. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the benefits of it.
Of bone broth fast.
Of a bone broth fast. And some of the downsides as well.
Yes.
So for those of you, for some background, last week, Kyle did a 48-hour bone broth fast where he just consumed bone broth, nothing else.
And water, I guess. A little bit of water, but not much. It was mostly bone broth.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to talk about why you did it. You're a healthy person.
Yes.
In good shape. No necessarily immediate need to do it, but even for someone in good shape, it can be a good thing to do. So let's talk about that. But before we talk about that, tell me about just the benefits in general.
About just bone broth in general, not necessarily bone broth fast, but bone broth.
Exactly.
So there's really, 5 or 6 benefits of consuming bone broth. One of them is improving digestion because of certain compounds in there, which we'll talk about. It can help support metabolism. It can improve hair, skin, nails, and joints, mainly due to the collagen in there. And we'll talk about collagen and why the collagen in bone broth is much better than collagen supplements that most people are taking. Collagen has become so popular recently. People put it in their coffee and all these different things. So we'll talk about that. Definitely stick around for that. It can help support detoxification. It can open up detox pathways in your body. And yeah, like I said, healthier joints. So those are the main benefits of bone broth.
It's a lot of benefits there. But for someone that doesn't have any concept of when you would use bone broth or what bone broth is, when do you personally use bone broth in a normal setting?
Yeah, normally I'd say there's really 2 instances where I really use bone broth. One is for cooking. It adds a lot of flavor to dishes. And then, I guess really 3. Cooking, like sometimes I'll just add a little bit to add flavor. For example, if I'm cooking a steak, which,
a lot of those.
A lot of steaks, a lot of ribeyes. I love ribeye, so nutrient dense, so delicious. If I'm making that, you notice after you cook a steak, there's some stuff stuck to the pan there. So sometimes I'll heat the pan very low and I'll pour some bone broth in and it'll get up all of that stuff on the pan, and that's a lot of flavor. So the combination of the bone broth and the leftover flavor from the ribeye, I guess you could say, is kind of sitting there, and then the bone broth brings up that flavor, so it's not stuck to the pan anymore, and then I just pour that over my steak.
Okay.
So that's one of the main ways I personally use bone broth.
Yeah, so you're not cooking it in the bone broth.
No. You can do that, though.
Okay.
That's another use case of it. Soups and stews, if you're going to make a soup, I would definitely use bone broth. You can use chicken stock, too, but more flavor, more health benefits, use the bone broth. And then sometimes if I'm sick, I will sip on bone broth. Maybe in the morning, instead of having a coffee, I'll make myself some bone broth, just heat it up. Normally, I just buy store-bought brand instead of making it myself. But I think we'll talk about how easy it really is to make bone broth and how much cheaper it is as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm sick, just because it's super high in so many vitamins and minerals and can help, give your immune system a quick boost to fight whatever illness you're dealing with.
Okay. So immediately a couple use cases.
Yeah.
But the one let's talk about today is using it in a fast sense. So first, before we get into the bone broth fast specifically, do you fast frequently?
I do not.
Okay.
No. I used to when I was dealing with a lot of digestive issues. I did fast. I would fast, I don't know, maybe once a quarter or something like that. I do like maybe a quick 24-hour water fast or even a 24-hour bone broth fast. But I can't say I haven't done one in years.
Oh, it's been that long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Because I remember years ago,
Yeah.
when you would do them,
Yeah.
every so often, it seemed like you were doing something to to reset your body.
Yeah, it was mainly at that time. It was mainly just to give my digestive system a break. So it doesn't have to digest any food. But if you do a bone broth fast, you're getting so many vitamins and minerals, but your body isn't using a lot of energy to digest it. So it's really beneficial.
You were giving your digestion a break because you were in pain?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
A lot of those previously that you did were specific because you were in pain. You needed to try something different.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
But this one was not.
Yeah, no, just, no, it was not.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's talk about the bone broth fast. What are the specific benefits to doing a bone broth fast?
Thank you to everyone that left us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify last week, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us tremendously. Again, we're still doing that Q&A in a future episode. So if you do leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts, leave a question in there as well, and we will get to it on a future podcast episode. Also, if you're enjoying this podcast, just go ahead and share it with a friend. It helps us tremendously reach more people. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, like I said, I think one of the main benefits that people do bone broth fast is to improve their gut health. So there's a compound in bone broth called gelatin, which can help basically repair your gut lining. So a lot of people have what's known as leaky gut. Have you heard of that before?
I have, yeah.
And it's when basically there's junctions in your gut, and sometimes they'll become loose, basically, but we want them to be tight. So when they become loose, there's different particles and toxins and bacteria and a bunch of negative things that can get into your bloodstream, which can cause a whole host of digestive symptoms, but really any symptom in general. So what bone broth does is it basically can help tighten those junctions, so nothing that's getting into your bloodstream shouldn't be getting in there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard leaky gut, but I feel like the context I've heard in is obviously Crohn's. Is it commonly associated with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say people with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, they definitely have leaky gut.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need to have IBD, which is irritable bowel disease, Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, to have leaky gut. Like someone can just have leaky gut, but not have one of those diseases.
Got it.
Autoimmune diseases.
So the gelatin in the bone broth acts as effectively a glue to bring your lining back together.
Yes, can help repair that gut lining.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. So it's not like you have leaky gut. There's no fixing it.
Correct.
There are ways to fix it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So that's one is gut health.
Yes.
Detoxification is also something you mentioned earlier. What does that mean?
Detoxification is essentially your body. So say there's stuff in your body that you want to get rid of.
Okay.
And that's essentially detoxification. So example of that could be some people have, if they've been in a moldy house or a moldy home, and they may have mold inside of their body. If you're not detoxing properly, then you're not going to eliminate those things. So bone broth can help open up these detoxification pathways to get rid of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When I think of it, I think of sauna. Would that be a detox?
Yes,
Getting
exactly.
in a sauna and
Exactly.
everything's kind of getting out.
Yep, exactly.
Same idea.
Yes.
Okay. So effectively, you're doing a sauna for inside your body where you're letting things get out that shouldn't be there.
Exactly.
And is the detox here, we're obviously talking about it specific to bone broth, but is that something people should be thinking about regularly, is detoxing their bodies?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'd say we all have, stuff in our body that isn't really supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think people should definitely be thinking about detoxing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bone broth is one way, sauna's another way to do it.
Yeah.
Are there other ways that you think about detoxing?
There's certain supplements you can take, like activated charcoal or bentonite clay. These are supplements that basically, when you take them, they bind on to these toxins in our body and help us detox. Yeah. So basically, think of it as you take a activated charcoal, it goes through your digestive system, goes through your body, and it just, think of it as a magnet. Like these toxins go towards the activated charcoal, and then it just kind of, you poop it out or pee it out, or
that's fascinating.
That's basically how it works.
The concept there of a magnet, that's an easy picture to paint in your mind.
Yeah.
You just see all the little toxins going on to that activated charcoal.
Yeah. And it just, the charcoal just moves, right through you. Like it's not, the charcoal isn't getting absorbed by your body or anything. It's just kind of going through it.
Is that something that you do, the activated charcoal?
I don't do it now. I've done it previously. When I was working with my previous functional doctor, we tested for mold and mycotoxins because I lived in a couple of moldy houses in college. So he wanted to test for that. And I did have, I forget which specific strain of mold that like I tested high in. So we used some binders is what they're called.
Okay.
Activated charcoal and bentonite clay being the two main ones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took them for a brief period of time, but no, that's not something I currently take.
No.
Yeah. And some people will, like if they go out drinking, they'll take activated charcoal before bed to kind of pull the toxins from the alcohol out of their body.
And it's effective.
Yes.
Very effective.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's more of something you take in a targeted time period. It's not like every day I'm taking my activated charcoal.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you should really do it every single day.
Okay.
It's for a purpose.
Got it.
And maybe, short amount of periods. Like maybe you'll do it for a couple weeks and then take a break.
Interesting.
And also, that also reminds me when you brought up sauna, some people will take activated charcoal before they go into a sauna to, I believe, like almost enhance the detoxification. So you're sweating out, but then you're also eliminating toxins.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like on steroids, effectively.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. So then another benefit of a bone broth fast is one that I would expect is weight loss. You're not consuming any food, so you're probably going to lose weight. But are you talking about just in those 24 to 48 hours or long-term benefits?
Yeah. Really just in the period that you're fasting.
Okay.
Is when you're going to lose the most weight, but it can kind of like jumpstart your weight loss if you're on a weight loss journey. I wouldn't, if you're not on the cleanest diet, if you're not on the best diet, I wouldn't recommend doing a bone broth fast to lose weight and then, go back to your regular diet.
Yeah.
Like you want to stay on a clean, healthy diet after the bone broth fast, because if you just use the bone broth fast to lose weight and then you go back to your normal diet, you're probably going to gain it all back very quickly. It
should be seen more as a reset. Like, I'm going to get started on a new diet, new path.
Yeah.
Bone broth is how I'm going to kick it off.
Yes.
Okay.
So, people use it for that for sure.
Okay. So then maybe along the lines of the gut health benefit too, you also have seen reduced inflammation as a benefit of doing this fast.
Yeah. There's certain compounds and amino acids in bone broth, such as glycine and arginine, which I think we'll talk about more in a second, but they've been shown to have an anti-inflammatory effect. So not only can they be anti-inflammatory to the gut, but also just like the body in general. Maybe you have arthritis or something like that, inflammation in your joints. The compounds in bone broth can help reduce inflammation.
Wow. It's crazy how many benefits there are.
A lot of benefits
to this bone broth.
Yep. I'd say this is one of the things, nowadays we have all of these different foods that we call superfoods, like kale and spinach and all of these greens. But I think bone broth, in my opinion, is one of the foods where we can really call a superfood.
Yeah. Out of the foods we've just talked about on the podcast, it seems to be one that has the most benefits. It's one of those, it reminds me of the sleep where it's like, what if I could put a pill together that does X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'll take that pill all day.
Yeah.
Well, it's bone broth.
Bone broth. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. And then the last one, which I think is really interesting, is almost as a food sensitivity reset.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. So if you were to do a bone broth fast, say for, 2, 3, 4 days, something like that. One, like we've talked about, it gives your body a rest and kind of a reset. And then some people will use it as, like you said, a way to see what foods you're sensitive to. So once you do this bone broth fast, then you can add in foods one by one to see what you're sensitive to.
Yeah.
So some people will maybe do this to see if they're sensitive to gluten or something like that. So they'll do this reset and then they'll introduce some gluten, hopefully not refined wheat from bread or something like that, but hopefully a whole grain or something like that, maybe even homemade bread or something like that, to see how they respond to it. How does their body respond?
Yeah.
Does it hurt your stomach? Do you get any skin things or joint pain or really anything? Are you showing symptoms after you consume that food? And some people will also do like a carnivore diet. They'll maybe they'll just eat meat for it can be anywhere from a week to like 30 days. Some people do it for 30 days, just eat meat to give your body a reset, and then you introduce foods one by one to see what you're sensitive to.
And is the takeaway there from adding in those foods, is it that you don't really crave those foods anymore, or is it really just to see if they upset your stomach?
Yeah, well, stomach, one of them, but also just like your body in general. Yeah, to see
joint pain, headache.
It can be anything. Exactly, headache. Yeah, how you're sleeping, your mood. You really got to pay close attention to symptoms after you do this reset.
Yeah,
bone broth reset, carnivore diet reset, because 99% of people aren't, maybe even more than that, they're going to digest meat and bone broth fine. Like they're not going to, that shouldn't cause symptoms for them. So that's why it's a good thing to do for a few days, or I mean, even up to a month carnivore diet. I wouldn't recommend a bone broth fast up to a month, but yeah, very useful.
So it clears the plate, and then you can add in food slowly.
Yes.
And then you talked about kind of improved sleep, how it makes you feel, joints, headaches, those kinds of things. When you do that, is it just like gut feel, like, oh, I slept better last night? Or how are you tracking the actual improvement of your body after doing something like this?
For sleep particularly, I'd say, since I have the Oura Ring, I can track it that way. But also like seeing how I feel, like how do I feel when I wake up?
Yeah.
I'd say there's two things that I really look at when I'm analyzing my sleep. One, how do I feel when I wake up? Am I energized, or am I like, oh, I need to go back to sleep? And how's my energy throughout the day? If I get to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm like, wow, I really need a nap, or I'm really tired, probably didn't sleep the best the night before. But if I got energy, if I'm like, doing all these different things, if I'm like, one of the ways that I tell if I slept well is how much I want to do the next day. Like, am I motivated to do work? Am I motivated to go work out? Am I going to go play golf? Am I going to go play tennis? Am I going to go hang out with friends? Like, that's the main way I tell. Yeah.
So it's really how you feel.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily tracking. You're writing in a notebook. Hey, this morning I woke up and X, Y, and Z. Okay.
No. But I do also look at my sleep score on the Oura Ring to see. And it's definitely, the higher the score, and this could be like a placebo effect, because I wake up and I see the score and I'm like, oh, 87. I'm like, oh, let's go. Like, I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah.
And then if I wake up, sometimes I'm like, oh, like for example, the other night, I went to sleep and I woke up. I went to sleep a little bit later because it was Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
Which got me.
Yep.
And I think I went to bed. I don't know, when did the Commanders game end?
11:20?
Yeah, 11:20, which is way later than I normally go to bed. I normally go to bed between 9:30 and 10. And I went to bed at like 11:30, and I woke up and my sleep score was like 71, I think. And I had gotten way less sleep than I normally do. And I noticed it. I definitely noticed throughout the day. I was like, oh, I'm a little bit more tired.
Yeah, you could feel it.
Could it have been a placebo effect because I woke up and I was like, oh, I slept bad?
Yeah.
Then I had that in my mind throughout the day? Maybe, but
either way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
Okay, so then you've also mentioned collagen a couple times so far. First, maybe for someone that's never heard that, because you're right, it does seem to be trendy.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Definitely.
What is collagen?
So collagen is it's a compound that's found in the bones of the bones and ligaments of beef, chicken, and I guess fish too. It can also come from fish. But the thing is with most collagen supplements out there is they come from the hides or the skin of the cattle, which can still have good benefits, but it's not as good as the collagen from the actual bones. So, most collagen supplements out on the market are hydrolyzed, and this hydrolyzation process, it's a technique that breaks down the molecules into smaller fragments, so basically they can be better absorbed by the body.
Okay.
But the problem is with this process, it's highly processed. So, and they can even use certain chemicals to extract the collagen protein from, like I said, the hides or the skin of cattle or chickens or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So that's why the best source of collagen is really from bone broth, because you're getting the collagen that's in the bones.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things that we've always talked about. It's the natural versus something that's made in the lab.
Yep.
And so it sounds like the supplements, although can be beneficial, they aren't perfect or aren't the best.
They're not it's not the best form. It's the collagen that's found in the actual bones, aka, drinking bone broth is, in my opinion, the best source of collagen. It's much more bioavailable.
Yeah, okay,
getting back to that. It's much easily absorbed by the body because it's not a lot of processing that goes on to make bone broth.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of processing that goes on to make these collagen supplements or these collagen powders that people put in their coffee, which again, they're not bad. They're just not the best.
Yeah. So do you ever use the collagen, the powder?
I used to, but I don't anymore.
No. Because you get it from other sources.
I mean, not even necessarily. No.
Because I do remember you used to take collagen.
Yes.
I remember I used to take collagen.
Yeah. I used to put a scoop in my morning matcha or my morning coffee or something like that.
Yeah, but just moved on from that.
Okay. And that's the other thing, and I don't know the exact science behind this, but putting these because most of the time they're in these powdered forms that people put in their coffee or their tea, and most of the time they're putting it in hot coffee or hot tea. So is that destroying any of the beneficial compounds that are in the collagen? Maybe. Yeah.
All right. So collagen, important for a lot of reasons, but the collagen you're getting in bone broth is the best type of collagen.
Yes, I'd say that's the best way to get your collagen.
Okay. And is there a type of bone that has more collagen than the others?
Like a certain animal, like cattle versus chicken? I believe beef.
Beef is the most.
Cattle has the most the most collagen.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, why is someone interested in consuming collagen? What are the benefits of consuming collagen?
Main thing is hair, skin, and nails. So improving, the thickness and growth of your hair, improving the elasticity in your skin, helps grow your nails faster. And my nails grow like crazy anyway. So I think I'm good on collagen. And then improving joint pain as well.
Okay.
Just because it's almost coming from the bones and the joints of these animals. So then it also can help improve our joints.
Yeah. It's like passing along their benefit to us.
Exactly.
So a lot of the benefits you mentioned at the beginning of bone broth are the benefits from the collagen in the bone broth.
Yes, collagen, and then other certain amino acids in there as well.
Okay.
Can also improve those things.
Okay.
But yeah, mainly the collagen.
Okay. So we've talked a lot. We framed this up. We've talked about the benefits of bone broth, a bone broth fast, a fast in general, and collagen. Now I want to know why you did it. So again, Kyle, otherwise healthy, no immediate issues, no pain. What made you decide to do a bone broth fast?
So I recently started working with a new functional doctor. His name is Dr. Will Cole. Many people listening to this podcast may know who he is. He's a very well-known functional doctor. And I really just wanted to get a bunch of kind of lab work done just to see where I'm at. Where's my body at? Get blood work done. Get my gut microbiome checked. Get another mycotoxin test to see, because I hadn't had it since I tested positive for it. 3 or 4 years ago. So I just want to see where my body was at and basically like try to optimize my health in any way that I can. So I met with him and he recommended doing a bone broth fast just to kind of give my body a reset and experience all these benefits that we just talked about from doing a bone broth fast. And again, you don't need to be sick to do a bone broth fast. You can do it when you're perfectly healthy. I think that's the best time to do a bone broth fast, is when you feel good. So yeah, I guess that's why I did it.
Yeah. One thing you said there that I think is interesting is that you're trying to optimize your health. And I think a lot of people, even people that are very conscious about what they put in their body, the ingredients, the food, it's almost like there can sometimes be a level of complacency where it's like I eat X because it's good and I eat Y because it helps my mind, or whatever those reasons are that you're consuming the food. But it feels like you're taking it to another level here where it's I want to be as efficient as I can with the food that I'm putting into my body.
Exactly.
Is that accurate?
Yeah. Okay. It's definitely fair to say. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you did the bone broth for those reasons.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
So day one, so I did it for 48 hours. And day 1, I felt good. I woke up, had a cup of bone broth, feeling good, good energy, good digestion because I really wasn't digesting anything.
Uh-huh.
I felt really good throughout the day. Got in a workout. I did like a long walk and everything, and felt good. Mental clarity, all this stuff. Day 1 was good.
You didn't feel hungry?
No, not day 1.
No,
because it's basically, they tell you, drink as much bone broth as you want.
Okay.
You can't drink too much. So I would have a cup of, 12 ounces of bone broth. And then if I was still hungry, then I'd drink another 12 ounces. If I was not hungry, then I wouldn't drink anymore. So it's basically just what my body felt. I think I added it up one day. I think I was having close to 90 to 100 ounces of bone broth.
Oh my goodness.
Which I think is on the higher side.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, I'm drinking it until I'm full.
Yeah.
So yeah. So no, I was not hungry the first day.
And you said you were not having water.
I was, but I wasn't drinking much because I was basically drinking because bone broth has water in it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thirsty.
Okay.
I'd say maybe I had 30 ounces of water throughout the day that day. So that was day 1, was great, feeling good. Woke up day 2, immediately I woke up and I was like, I feel a little bit tired and I had a little bit of like brain fog.
Yeah.
So like just not mentally, like some people, like I just said, I had mental clarity the first day. Second day, I was like, I felt it immediately. I was like, I don't feel how I normally do.
Yeah.
I don't feel my best. And I thought it was going to get better throughout the day, but it actually got worse.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you happen to check your sleep score?
Yeah, I slept well.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. I actually wrote it. I actually did write down my sleep score for those 2 days because I was curious. And it was like, I think I got 8.5 hours of sleep and my sleep score was like 85 or something. And to put that into context, like mid to high 80s is pretty solid for me. If I get like low 90s, that would be like exceptional. Like I can't say I get that often unless I sleep for like 9 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
But normally like 8.5 hours is what I get. And yeah, I slept great. Which was the weird thing.
Yeah.
So woke up the second day, not good, and basically got worse throughout the day. I had very little energy, and I got this terrible headache in the mid-afternoon around 2:00. The back of my head just hurt so much. And
did you think about eating at all at this point? Or you're like, no, I'm committed to it?
I was committed to it because I was like, I said just the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I just got a terrible headache, and I very rarely get headaches unless I'm like sick. I don't just randomly get headaches.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was not good. And I was just so tired. I think I even laid down that afternoon and like closed my eyes for 10 minutes because I was so tired.
Yeah.
And that's like not like me at all. So yeah, I didn't feel great that second day. And that was, you came over that night to record.
Yeah.
And I had very little energy.
You looked exhausted
And
when
a
I came
headache.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's ironic. So that podcast we recorded was an energy drink episode. And you look exhausted. And we talked all about how you get energy from food.
I needed an energy
Yeah.
drink. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you had no food for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like living proof that this is how it works.
Yeah. So did not feel good the second day. But I actually went to bed I was exhausted that night, and I slept fantastic that night.
Oh, yeah.
I think because I was so tired. I looked at my Oura ring, and I barely woke up throughout the night. And I think my sleep score was like 87 or 88, so it was pretty high. And we'll get back. I talked to my doctor. I think it was day 3. I had a call with my doctor, and they kind of talked about why I was having those problems on day 2. But anyway, day 3, so I wake up, I'm basically done with the fast.
Yeah.
But I woke up day 3 and I felt much better.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a wall you need to almost break through.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. So, I woke up day 3, good energy and no headache. So that day 2 was definitely the worst. And after I talked with my doctor, they said I could have been dehydrated because I wasn't getting enough electrolytes.
Okay.
But bone broth is a good source of magnesium and potassium and calcium and these different electrolytes. So I was a little bit confused on that, but maybe I wasn't getting enough. Also, the other part of this, I guess, I just got back from traveling, and it's easy to get dehydrated when you're traveling. So that could have also been a part of it.
Did you consume less bone broth on day 2 than you did day 1?
No, it's basically the same amount.
Same amount.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, very similar amount.
Yeah.
So that's what, I guess that was the conclusion we came to. Maybe I was dehydrated. I wasn't getting enough electrolytes.
Yeah.
So tip for you, if you are doing a bone broth fast, maybe try to consume some more electrolytes than you normally do.
Before you start or during?
During.
So you can still consume electrolytes.
Yeah. Ideally, it would be like unflavored electrolytes because you don't want to be consuming much more else besides just the bone broth.
Yeah.
But yeah, even adding like some salt to the bone broth, which I did a little bit, but not a lot. Or even just, having some salts with your water in the morning, or trying to find some unflavored electrolytes.
Yeah. And then, so day 3, you're feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
Did you go right into eating food?
Yeah. Around noon that day.
You ate what you'd normally eat.
Yeah. I actually cooked. I did eat what I normally eat, which is like beef and zucchini and carrots, and I think I had some onions as well. But I cooked it all in the bone broth, so it's just a little bit easier to digest. So just kind of easing back into it a little bit. Yeah.
So now we're on I think it's like day 6 or 7.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now today?
Yeah, I feel good. My digestion's good. I got my energy back, and no headaches or anything like that. So yeah, I feel good.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I would do it again, and I would consume more electrolytes.
More electrolytes?
Yeah,
would you do it during it?
Yeah,
Would
but
you
I
do
definitely would do it again.
You would for 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, I do 48 hours again.
You would, yeah.
I was doing some research on it, kind of while I was doing the bone broth fast, and a little bit afterwards, and it seems like 3 days is what's recommended.
Oh yeah,
so maybe I would do that. Yeah.
When would you do the next one? Is it like I'll do this in a few months, next year?
Few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do it a few times a year?
Yeah, I'd say like 2 to 4 times a year, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to start doing it more. Because also, I thought about this as well. Like, we talked about how drinking bone broth can help support detoxification pathways. I thought, well, maybe I was detoxing from something while I was on this fast, which was causing a headache. Because when you detox, when you're eliminating these toxins, sometimes that can cause symptoms like headaches or, really anything. So that was something else I thought. I was like, maybe I should be doing this a little bit more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually going through that whole process, even getting the headache, encouraged you to do it more.
Yes, it did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I
would definitely,
like that.
I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
And if you are interested in doing this, I guess we're not telling people to do this because
no, not necessarily. No, you make the decisions that are best for you.
Yeah. But if you are interested in learning more about this and like specific protocols, I recommend looking on YouTube at Dr. Axe. Do you know Dr. Axe? Yeah, he's pretty popular functional doctor. Dr. Axe, type in like Dr. Axe bone broth. He's got a lot of great videos on the benefits of bone broth and then also like how to do a fast and how much to consume.
Yeah, that's a good point. You want to do it the right way.
Yeah. You don't just dive right into it.
Yeah.
Be prepared, learn about it ahead of time. And my doctor actually warned me about this going into it. He said, you may have some low energy for the days that you're on this bone broth fast. So just be prepared. Like you shouldn't be doing it when you need to have a bunch of energy.
Yeah.
Like maybe even do something I would have changed. Maybe it was doing it on the weekend as opposed to during the week, just so I can relax more. Just like, yeah.
Yeah. Because day 2, you don't think you could have gone out and done anything.
No.
Exercised.
No.
Did you go to the gym?
No.
No.
Oh,
couldn't
no.
make it there.
No. There was no way.
Yeah.
No.
It
I was
wasn't
like, I woke up, I was like, I'm not doing anything today.
You knew immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, I normally wake up, I'm good to go. I'll go to the gym and go for a walk and do all this stuff. And I was like, nope, it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You've never done a bone broth fast?
I have not. No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've ever done a fast like that. Fasted for colonoscopies.
Oh yeah.
But
I guess 24-hour fast or something.
Yeah. Maybe 18 hours or something. It's not too long.
Yeah.
That's for a different reason.
Yeah.
I would like to try it out though.
Yeah.
I have a lot of bone broth. It was actually on when we did our picks.
Oh yeah, that was that was one of your picks.
Yeah.
You have a lot of bone broth?
Brooke uses it. My wife cooks a lot with bone
cooking.
broth.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
Adds so much flavor.
Yeah.
So a lot of benefits, but it's also just delicious.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's the best. That's one of the best ways to get bone broth in your diet.
Yeah.
Just by cooking with it.
Yeah.
Because it adds flavor, but you get all those benefits.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I'm interested in trying it out.
Yeah.
I could see myself doing a 24-hour, just test it out.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Obviously no coffee though too.
Yeah,
along
no
with
coffee.
that.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to consider.
Yes, and that could have also been another reason maybe why I got a headache.
Yeah.
My body was used to the caffeine, and I didn't get any.
Yep.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll just go without coffee one day, and I normally don't notice less energy or headaches or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's where we're gonna end it here.
All right, that is episode 16 of the Clean Kitchen podcast. Let us know if you try a bone broth fast, or just if you have bone broth in your diet in general. See if you would notice any of these benefits that we talked about today. But thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week in episode 17.
Bye.